she really specializes in true crime videos. She does an amazing job covering all the details, making it so easy to understand and captivating at the same time. She uploads super regularly, and I've been a fan of her channel for such a long time. She has helped me get to sleep multiple times, and her voice is great. I love her. We've been talking about doing this collab for a while now, and it's finally happening. So I am very excited. So the way we're going to work it, if you haven't figured it out yet, I am doing part 1 of this case on my channel, and then for you to know how everything ended, you have to go watch part 2 on her channel. So I will have the links to the second part of this video as well as her channel all down in the description. Very easy for you to find. And yeah, so once you get done with this video, to figure out how this case ends, go over to her channel to watch part 2. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about the case of Laci Peterson. Now, those of you who watch my videos, you know what I say before I start any of these true crime videos. We don't mean any disrespect to the people involved in this case. These videos also are not intended for anyone under the age of 13, 14. These are intended for mature audiences who genuinely enjoy the combination of ASMR and true crime. So if you're not one of those people, that's okay. This video just may not be for you. But if you are into that, then just keep on watching and we can get started. So I'm going to be referring down to my notes, which are right down here. So if you see me looking down, that's where I'm looking. I just want to make sure that I'm not getting any information incorrect. So I hope that you don't mind that too much. So I'm going to start by giving you a background of Laci and some of the other people involved in her life that were also involved in this case. Okay, so this is kind of a Christmas themed true crime, which is why we chose to upload it around this time. Laci disappeared on December 24th, 2002. We will get into how she disappeared, who was involved, and why. So, starting from the very beginning, Laci was born on May 4th, 1975, and like I said, went missing on Christmas Eve, 2002. She was born to her parents, Sharon and Dennis Rocha, who owned a dairy farm in California, Escalon, California, if you're familiar with that area. She also had a brother named Brent, who was 4 years older than her. She grew up outdoors. Her and her brother grew up outdoors, working on the farm regularly and just spending their time outdoors, you know, and that kind of grew her appreciation of nature and agriculture and all that, which later played a role in her life, as we'll see later, of what she went on to study when she got older. When she was just under 2 years old, her and her brother were very young. Her parents divorced, and she moved away with her brother and her mother to Modesto, California. But they would visit the dairy farm on the weekends, so they weren't too far away, and they were able to still have that, you know, that relationship with their father and also hang out on the dairy farm, which they loved. Eventually, her mother remarried to a man named Ron Gransky, who helped raise her and her brother from the age she was 2. She remarried fairly quickly, and he was very much involved in their lives. graduated from Thomas Downey High School and went on to study at California Polytechnic State University. She was very smart. She majored in ornamental horticulture, which I had to look up just so I knew what that meant. And the definition that I got is basically it's the study of agriculture of plants used mainly for food, materials, comfort, and beauty for decoration. So basically how you can use agriculture and the earth and whatnot for products that we use all the time. So like sustainability, that kind of thing. I believe that's what I took away from it. If you have better information about what that major is, feel free to leave it down below, but that's what I got from it. So while she was studying in school, this is going to be a very important marker of her life. So while she was in school, one of her really close friends worked at a restaurant in Morro Bay called the Pacific Cafe. And so Laci would go there, just, hang out, study, eat, and see her friend. Now, one day while she went to do that, it was mid-1994, she went there and she met one of her friend's coworkers named Scott Peterson. And right away he piqued Laci's interest, and she made the first move. She sent him her phone number. It's not clear on how she did it, if she did it through her friend or if she just flat out said, here's my number. Not entirely sure, but she gave him her number, and her mother, Laci, later recalled that right after Laci met Scott, she had told her mom, I met the man that I'm going to marry. So right away she felt some sort of connection, and she was like all about this dude. So eventually, he used her number. They started hanging out. They started to date, and it got pretty serious. As they got older and started to get towards the end of their college career, Scott's dream of being a professional golfer started to change and become a little more business oriented, I guess. I don't want to say more realistic, because that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but he just, I guess, was trying to find a more safe path. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I hope. So anyway, they dated for a few years. As I said, it started to get a lot more serious, and they eventually moved in together. So Laci graduated before him, so when he was in his senior year, she had taken a full-time job in Prunedale. I think I'm saying that right. So yes, he was still in school, he was studying, he was getting ready to, job hunt and look for a job of his own. And Laci had just started a full-time job. Now, it came out later during investigations after Laci went missing that Scott was actually having 2 affairs with 2 other women, and Laci had no idea. And it came out later during the investigation when Laci went missing. It came out that Scott was actually having 2 relationships with other women behind Laci's back. So he was cheating with 2 different women at this time when he was in his senior year. So just something to note about his character. After he graduated, the couple married on August 9th, 1997. And they started a life together. They actually opened a sports bar called The Shack in San Luis Obispo. I believe that's still in California, right? I think so. And so, they were starting a business, so it started slow. They didn't have really any clientele, but eventually it started to gain some traction, and they got some regular customers, and they actually started to do pretty well. However, they sold it just 3 years later in October of 2000. And with the money that they made from selling it, they bought a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house for $177,000 in an upscale neighborhood near 𝓢𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪 Park. So they had their new house, they continued working, and they both gained, they were like moving on to different career paths. So Laci became a substitute teacher, Scott worked for a European fertilizer company, and life seemed good. They were both working, they were both making money, they had a house. All seemed like it was going really well. And Laci's mother and her stepsister Amy recall Laci being like the perfect housewife, and she was excited to do it. Like, she was enthusiastic about being a housewife. She loved to cook, she loved to clean, she loved to entertain people when they came over to visit, and like host parties and gatherings and stuff. She loved it. In 2002, the couple happily welcomed the news that Laci was pregnant. She was due February 10th, 2003, but then it changed, her due date changed to February 16th, so only like a week later. And the couple had planned to name the boy Connor. It's a little baby boy. Another key thing to note, again, just about Scott's character, in November, she was fairly pregnant by then, Scott met a massage therapist named Amber Frey, and it came out later, again during the investigations, that Scott had told Amber when they met that he was single, and the two started a romantic relationship, again, of course, behind Laci's back. So, we are going to skip a little bit, well, really just a month later, December 2002. Laci was very pregnant at this time, and Laci went missing. Besides her husband, the last two people that saw her were her mother and her half-sister. So on December 23rd, 2002, the day before Christmas Eve, Laci and Scott went to the hair salon that Laci's stepsister worked at. It was called 𝓢𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪, and Amy was cutting Scott's hair as she did once a month. This was a regular thing. And Amy recalled Scott saying, because they were talking as she cut his hair, and he said that he was going golfing on Christmas Eve. And she was saying, I think she was telling him, oh, I ordered a fruit basket for my dad for Christmas. I think it was for her dad. For her grandfather, excuse me. She ordered a fruit basket for her grandfather, and that was going to be her grandfather's Christmas gift. And so she recalled Scott saying, well, I'm going golfing in that area, I can pick it up for you. So that was her idea of where he was going to be on Christmas Eve. And during the investigation, again, when everyone was being questioned and everyone that Scott knew and stuff like that, investigators found out that he told multiple people that he was going golfing on Christmas Eve. So that's where pretty much everyone thought he was going to be. Laci's mother at last spoke to Laci on the 23rd, that same day, around 8:30 p.m. and all seemed okay. When questioned by the police, Scott told them that he last saw his wife around 9:30 in the morning on Christmas Eve before he left to go fishing. He said she was watching a cooking TV show. She was getting ready to mop the floor, bake cookies, and walk their dog to a nearby park, which, side note, this is just my own thought. You're leaving your 8-month pregnant wife to do all that, and you're gonna go golfing? I don't know. But whatever. Maybe she liked doing that stuff, and I don't know. Whatever. Anyway. That's just, I was like, that's a thought. Alright. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Moving on. Later that she returned him to their backyard. Around 10:45, just 15 minutes later, another neighbor named Mike said that he saw their dog again as he was outside playing fetch with his own dog. And he brought the dog back to the yard as well. And I didn't write it down, but I read that there was someone who remained anonymous, that found Mackenzie again on the sidewalk, and the leash was like covered in mud. So it's just like weird that was all happening with the dog, right? So Scott returned home that afternoon, said he didn't see anything in the yard, like didn't really even comment on the dog really. And he immediately took a shower and washed his clothes that he was wearing, because he said he got wet from fishing. So I guess he just kind of like abandoned the whole golf story. And taking a shower right away, I would understand. However, washing the clothes you were wearing immediately, I don't know, I feel like most people would just kind of put it in the laundry bin, right? Especially on Christmas Eve, I don't know, whatever. So now, here's where the conflicting reports start of Laci's disappearance. Laci was nowhere to be found that day. ABC News reported that Scott had called the police and reported Laci missing from their home. New York Post, however, reported that when Laci still hadn't returned home on Christmas Eve by 5:15 p.m., Scott called his mother-in-law, and then after half an hour, Laci's mom's husband, Laci's stepfather, he's the one that called the police. So, not sure why there were conflicting reports there. Another news source, one of their local news sources, also said that Laci's stepfather was the one that called police. So, when police arrived at the Peterson home that night, Laci's keys, wallet, and sunglasses were found in a closet in their home. So everything, like all of her essentials, were home. Her car was in the driveway. So she just vanished. The dining room table was set for their family dinner that they would have had the next day on Christmas Day. Scott was reported to have been very calm. He was answering questions, but he wasn't, like a normal person. If your spouse was completely missing and had been for hours, would be very nervous and asking a bunch of questions. He was very, very calm and more on the reserved side. So just to give a little bit of recognition to the investigators in the case, the two lead investigators were named John Bueller and Alan Brocchini, just so I can refer to them and you know who I'm talking to. And they, of course, questioned Scott that evening. Now, he initially told them that he did go spend the day golfing, but then later told police that he went fishing at Berkeley Marina, which right away, changing his story, right? At 2:15, he called Laci and left a message that said, quote, "Hey beautiful, it's 2:15, I'm leaving Berkeley." Now, Bueller, one of the lead investigators, told ABC News in 2017, so not that long ago, and he said, quote, "I suspected Scott when I first met him. Didn't mean he did it, but I was a little bit thrown off by his calm, cool demeanor and his lack of questioning. He wasn't, 'Will you call me back? Can I have one of your cards? What are you guys doing now?' So he was very nonchalant about the whole thing, which right away for them was like a red flag. So this is when people started searching for her. So police and firefighters carried out a massive search that started along Dry Creek, which was a creek in their area, the day after her disappearance. So on Christmas Day is when all this searching really started. And the search was very elaborate. It included helicopters, officers with searchlights, police officers on horseback and on their bikes, canine units, water rescue units on rafts in the water. There were a total of 30 officers plus Laci's friends and family, all her loved ones. And it just got bigger and bigger the more people involved. Flyers were posted. At a press conference, the other lead investigator, 𝓤𝓭𝓲𝓬𝓲𝓪, said that police did not believe that Laci would just up and leave without saying anything to her family, without leaving all of her essentials in her house, also while 8 months pregnant. So they believed that someone did this. They did not believe that she just got up and decided, hey, I'm gonna leave my family behind. They said it would have been very out of character for her. In the first 2 days, only 900 people became involved in looking for her. So besides her friends and family, people heard about it and volunteered their time and wanted to look for her as well. And because of this and how many people were involved, it eventually attracted like nationwide attention. Everyone in the country was talking about it. It was all over the news and in the newspapers. At first, a $25,000 cash reward was offered for information that would lead to where Laci was or what happened to her. That then increased to $250,000, and then finally to $500,000 for any information that would lead to her discovery. Loved ones set up a command center at a nearby hotel. It was a Red Lion hotel, and that's where they would like meet to record and write down developments, circulate information, that kind of thing. It was like a hub for the search for Laci. And over 1,500 volunteers signed up to distribute information and help search for her. So for months this search went on, involving all of these volunteers and Laci's loved ones, and they did not give up looking for her because they truly believed that something had happened to her. So now I'm going to pass it over to the Empress ASMR, and she will continue telling you all about Laci's case and the discoveries that were made